for the thing to load in. There we go. Now we're live. Now we're live. We're on X, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. We're everywhere, guys. Say hello to everybody. But yeah, let me turn this off real quick. I got my fucking notifications going off like crazy. If I don't turn them off, they just won't stop. They just won't stop. Um, it's nice to see you, Jusaski. It's the second day in the row now. Usually, usually we don't see you all that much lately, buddy. It's been good seeing you around again. All right, let's get this. Let's get this. Share screen. Share screen. Which screen am I sharing? I'm sharing this one. There we go. All right. Let me get some stuff up here. We're gonna start looking around today. So today we're just doing news. We're checking in on the market. We're looking at what's going on where. We should probably just start off with good old BTC and see what's going on with that because yeah, BTC has been a mess lately. Ooh, it dipped down hard again, huh? Oh no, this okay. It was looking at a different time frame. So it broke back down. Decent FVG up here, around 68. Broke back up to almost 70. We're gonna have to see how this goes, guys. We're gonna have to see how this goes. But it's not bad over here. Let me see. Lux Algo. Get rid of this for right now. Um, I only get two indicators, so it's really annoying. But the hell is this? Way. How do I? There we go. I want to see volume. Not bad. Uh, Goodbye volume. After the dip. That is a hard dip. Um, let's see. Let's see what else we got going on here. RSI. Sold here. Up there for a bit. Down. Yeah. Honestly, guys, I don't know if we're out of the woods yet. I realistically, I think that we may see another dip back down towards 65, maybe even another dip down towards 60, guys. Like, it seems like it's shoring itself up. There's some strength in some areas, but like realistically, that dump down and the uncertainty in the market right now, the media and the news around, blockchain and tech sectors and global economics is kind of rough right now, man. Like it's a tough time for the market. It's a tough time for everything. So I mean, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't take back down. I'm not a professional trader. I watch a lot of like the sentiment. I watch a lot of the news. I like where today we're just as a community exploring the market together. So like yeah, it's don't expect me to sit here and drive you to gold, but we can discuss and we can explore. What do you guys think about the movements? What do you guys think about BTC? Where can we see ourselves moving in the future with what this chart is looking like? Honestly, I'm expecting another dip down. I don't think that we've got enough upward pressure right now to break out of this range here. The 70 range has been a hard like stop for us. We haven't gotten past it in what like a week or two now. It was straight down from there. We did bounce hard off of 60, which is good. Um, but we haven't picked up enough momentum to break out of the 70 range. So I don't think if we keep if we keep bouncing off, we might even see more negative sentiment in the market and more of a downward push again. So I think that we could hit that 60 again and bounce off again. I'm expecting to hit that 60 mark again and to bounce off again. Um, realistically, it would probably liquidate a lot of long positions for people who are bullish right now. Spilling water all over myself. Good job. I got a hole in my face. It's supposed to be my mouth, but it's over here somewhere. Um, we've got some news coming up. Durable goods, month, build permits, housing starts. Not too big a deal. FOMC minutes. That may be a bigger deal there. Personal income month over month, GDP growth rate. These could be good numbers too to check out. Latest news. New legislation seeks to grant the CFTC control over digital commodities like Bitcoin, 180-day registration period for exchanges to reduce market regulatory uncertainty. Bitcoin is trading at 68.5 after hitting 16-month low of 60K on February 6th. Must surpass the 70K resistance with strong volumes to trend upwards. Actually, that's kind of what I was just saying. I did not pre-read this, guys. Just letting you know. I didn't pre-read this. Um, I'm not sure, D Young. I'm not sure if we're gonna break down past 60. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin historically, right? We'll switch over to the day mark for this. If you look at Bitcoin historically, right? We've seen these periods just like this in the past, right? Especially around the 2020 mark, right? In 2020, and this was kind of the first big pump, and this was during COVID. So there were external factors affecting it. People had a moratorium on rent. They were sent home from their jobs, which means that they were collecting unemployment. They also had COVID checks that were coming in. And those COVID checks were just extra money on top that allowed people to invest in things that they normally wouldn't invest in. What's up, Tyler? I see you down there. Hey, JK. Shinzin. What's up, brother? I see you guys all flowing in. About time you woke up. Don't worry, I'm still not awake myself. So, but yeah, so like we see back here, like in 2020 when we started to really hit that COVID crisis, it pumped a lot, and there was a lot of money in COVID that went into the Bitcoin market because people wanted to invest in something. A lot of people couldn't invest in the stock market freely because the stock market, if you want to day trade, if you want to do anything crazy with your money like that, then you have to have like a broker account. Otherwise, you're locked on like what was it, 3 in, 3 out, or 5 in, 5 out, or something like that. I forget what it was exactly. Without a 25K account um on stocks, do I need or how many can I make in time frames? Oh. Oh, you're heading to East Denver, dude. I hope that it goes well, dude. I hear that this year's events are looking a little dismal because of the market and everything. So I hope you have fun with it, brother. East Denver is supposed to be one of those big, you got to go at least once events. I haven't been able to make it yet. I was hoping to make it a GDC this year for like Wolf's Den and go and check out the stuff, but it's looking like I'm probably gonna have to wait till YGG or Gamescom even. I want to do Gamescom because I want to go hang out with my boy Valent. He's in Netherlands, but he should be able to make it to Germany pretty easily. And then of course YGG. I want to go visit all my Filipino friends. And I want to go hang out and check out the games and everything and see what's coming up. PGC and GDC next month as well. Yeah, dude. This year I'm saving up for YGG. This year my big push is YGG. I want to make it to YGG. I want to spend like a month out there. I got to make sure I get my passport renewed. I got to make sure I get everything situated. I'm gonna rent a place out there for a month, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna hit the event. I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna hang out with friends. And I'm just gonna have a good time. Like I'm this YGG will be my first out of country trip. I've been everywhere in the United States. I've been to every state except for North Dakota and no, just North Dakota. And I've been to Toronto. I haven't been to any other countries except for Canada. And the one time I went, it was a quick drop off out there when I was driving a truck. So like realistically, I haven't been outside of the country for extended periods of time. So this first trip to the Philippines, I want to be like a month long trip and like really get a chance to enjoy Manila. Maybe check out some of the provinces with some of the friends and see from there, you know? But yeah, you can make 3 day trades in 5 business days. If you all use all three on Monday, you cannot make another day trade until the following Monday. If you make a fourth trade, your account will be restricted for 90 days. So yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Manila's the capital, and that's where we that's where we always see YGG take place. So yeah, I've loved looking up different places like um it, Manila PH. Let's see. Yeah. So like Manila's all the way up here. A lot of my friends are like down here. So I kind of want to take like a short plane ride. It's only like 45 or $50 to get from like Manila to like Cebu or any of these other like smaller regions. I want to go and take a trip out there because of that. Because I can see myself having fun exploring the different regions. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Tagaytay is another one that I actually wanted to check out. Down in this area is supposed to be like their yeah, I think it was $45 or $50 for a round trip flight to the provinces down there. So like I'm planning on exploring for sure. But I've heard about Tagaytay. I've heard about like Mount San Cristobal. There's a lot of like mountain regions over here that get pretty cool. Yeah, flights, dude. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If I went down here, I could see having more enjoyable temperatures because like Manila and other regions are like really hot. Like friggin' JK's in there telling me 30 degrees and same thing with like Luna and other people that I know. So it's like I I like the heat better than the cold, but I still don't want to put myself in like miserable climate conditions and I work from home. So like realistically. Um, but yeah, during this time, we saw a lot of people that were investing in crypto that normally weren't investing in crypto, right? We saw a lot of money come in. We saw a lot of liquidity enter the market. A lot of people found crypto for the first time in these periods. We saw the rise and fall of Axie from like 2019 or 2020 to like 2021, 2022. We saw like the birth of GameFi, like actual games coming to market. We saw RWAs really starting to become a thing. Like there was a lot of hype around the market and like people started to get in and it pushed up, but like as we pushed up we hit what 60 70K back here in 2020 2021, right? 2020 2021 peak was friggin 65K, came back down to 31K, 50% move, back up to 70K, back down to 20K. That's a 66% move almost, right? And then we hovered there. But you got to remember, we came up from 11K. That's a 100% increase, right? In this mark, in this area, after the pumps. So people got in, people took profits, and we were still like 100% higher than we were starting off before all the craze hit, right? And then we kind of like just leveled out. We had some serious increases, 17K to 30K. That's another 100% increase from this point to that point. Like we have a lot of money that's coming in and out of this market, a lot of movement. It's just that like we hit this peak over here that 125K peak, and from like 2023 to 2025, it was only up, guys. Like we literally did only up. Like we had a couple consolidation points, but we never saw like major downward trend after these big pushes. We saw a dip for here from 110 to 75, right? So we spent what, 2 years almost just pumping liquidity into the market, right? Where we pumped up here 48, pumped up here 72, pumped up here 107, 110, pumped up here 125. And then what? The moment that we have a 40% or 30% pullback, everybody's losing their shit saying that, oh, it's over. We're at 50% of what we started at, right? And that's kind of, if you look at it, like I said, historically, 68, 70, 16, 22. Like, realistically, we're no worse off than we were back in 2022, 2021. Like the people are pulling out money, people are making their profits, and then you know what's gonna happen? It's gonna stabilize. We're probably gonna stabilize here around 60K, right? This 60K mark here, this whole range, right? We're gonna be like right around. Wrong friggin' indicator. Hold on. Where the hell was it? It was this one? Was it this one? Nope, not this one. Okay, never mind. So we're probably gonna like this range over here, 60, 60, 60. Where the hell is 60? There we go. This like and of course I was holding the friggin' mouse button like there we go. So like this range around here, this is probably gonna be our support moving forward, in my opinion, right? Like I think that we're gonna bounce off of this maybe another one or two times. People are gonna have made their money. They're gonna see that there's enough of a support, and we're gonna bounce back up, right? But like if we're looking at at the money that poured into the system, we got to think too. Like when was the first Bitcoin? When was the first BTC ETF? Right? Okay, in 2021. Okay. However, the first spot Bitcoin ETFs, which hold actual Bitcoin, were approved by the SEC January 10th, 2024. So, if we think about that, how does that affect our movement? Like, what were we talking about? January 10th, 2024. We're looking at January 2024, right here. We were at what? 48K. That pumped us up to 72K. So there were major occurrences within the market that pushed us where we wanted to go. Money going up, right? We haven't had all that much recently, right, with Bitcoin, except for like what, like El Salvador's old news, um, people starting to buy in. BlackRock's probably the big news. BlackRock starting to really move into crypto. Um, but is that necessarily going to be a net positive? Institutional money tends to draw, like institutional money tends to move markets in ways that people don't expect, especially when we're in a market that's already been wild, wild west. So like realistically, I don't know how beneficial that's going to be for us as a market, as a as a financials like system or speculative trading market, right? Like we this dump was really hard, right? We lost so much movement, so much price from years of upward trend, right? But at the same time, we saw no real downward trend, right? We hit the tops here at 75. The lowest we came down to was 49.50, but realistically, that was a wick, right? Like we were at like 50, 55, 57 coming through here. So like realistically, that movement, this is more of a trending sideways. This we came up to 105, 110, and we did have a decent dip there back down to 75, right? Honestly, if we bounce off of 60 again, I would get in for long. I would get it if we bounce off of 60 again. Right now, I'm not touching Bitcoin, dude. Bitcoin is sideways as fuck right now. and we and we're not we're not out of the woods yet. We're not on the bullish trend. We can still go bearish. We can still flip that 60 mark and go down. Um, I'm not comfortable saying yes. We should be dumping in now, right? Like I'm not comfortable saying like I'm gonna. I wouldn't right now. I wouldn't do a long. I you know what? I might be comfortable doing like a short here, right? So like if I did a short and I stepped my stop loss up here at like 70. Hold on. Let me see. What's the hour mark? Um, minutes, hours, one. Cancel. Okay, whatever. 1 hour mark, right? So looking at this, right? The point that I'm looking at is down here because I see that as our hard resistance. Like I see that as where we're like completely oversold. I think that if we hit down here again, we're going to bounce. Um, the problem is that the movements here are wild, dude. I like we've hit 70, 72. I'd say like the 70 to 72 range. I would probably set a stop loss at like 71, 71.5, right? And then do a short from here. Maybe not a short from here. It's hard resistance there. A nice good wick there. Candles green on the hour right now so far. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do a long here. I wouldn't do anything here because it can go either way. This is a trade I wouldn't get into. I wouldn't bet on this. So like yeah. Oh what? So what? Copy trading? Is that what you want to do? Like 100x leverage degen trading? Oh wait. Let's see. Let's see what the minute mark's looking like. We do some short-term trades. Yeah, it bounced pretty hard there though. A lot of buy pressure coming back up. You know what? I don't think I'm not in to lose money. Oh, that's all I ever do when I trade. Damn it. Otherwise, I'd be teaching people how to do it. That's why I tell you, I am not the sensei for this. Okay. The this is not my wheelhouse. I play games, bro. That's it. And I degen. But no, guys. Like realistically, looking at this here on the minute, and the problem is that the minute is so volatile. Like we can be here, and the next minute it can blast through all these FEG points where like there's outstanding trades still waiting. Like there I can see this blasting straight through, but it doesn't look bad on the minute mark, and I think that. But I think realistically, you're going to if you get in here, right? Oh, look at that. Look at that. It went from green and looking healthy to here comes the dump, right? So like this is why I'm not messing around with it right here. Cuz just came back up, hit some resistance up here. It's sitting here around this point. There's a lot of interest in upward pressure here. There's a lot of buy interest here, but there's a lot of sell interest right here too. And I don't know, guys. I would honestly want to see that bounce off of 60K again than to try to get in here and make money. So that's where my problem is. Like I don't I wouldn't want to risk this one. But Solana, let's see what Solana had some good news recently, didn't they? Um, let's see what we got here. Didn't they just have key developments include Goldman Sachs disclosing $108 million in Solana ETFs, significant network growth with 3,800 new developers, strategic shift towards stablecoin utility. Despite a 23% decline in new user activity, prices shown resilience. Institutional adoption, developer growth, shift to utility technological upgrades. They're expecting some new game changing upgrades in 2026, but you know what? That also makes people nervous too, because upgrades sometimes come with issues. And we've had our fair share with all of the chains, with all of that, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Polygon, whether whatever, you know, everybody's happy to win and scared to lose, dude. You got to get that fear out of there, buddy. Don't trade scared. Ondo finance expansion. Here we go. Ondo Global Markets is expanding to Solana, bringing over 200 token. This was the big news that I saw. I think the 200 tokenized U.S. stocks and ETFs on chain. That's going to be interesting to see with Solana. So I think Solana's got some potential there. The problem is as long as Bitcoin is bearish, the market's bearish, right? Like none of these coins have been successful in breaking the BTC trend. Solana operates weirdly compared to the movements that are on Bitcoin, but realistically, these are not. They're not separate. Like it still moves with Bitcoin. As Bitcoin moves, Solana moves, and you got to be careful with that. So like even if there's big good news for Solana, that may tick it upwards. That may help the price point. That may make you a little more confident in it. But if the whole market's red, if Bitcoin is red, you're likely not going to see any real traction unless Bitcoin starts to come back. Like you may see small pumps, you may see opportunities to make a little bit of cash off of trading or whatever, but like you're not holding it long term unless you think you're in at a bottom and you continue to push that. So there's that. Solana is friggin' weird, dude. And then there's the whole thing with like the why don't I have this up? Then there's the whole thing with like the Solana meme coins and the pump fund and stuff like that. You see a lot of liquidity moving in and out of like the Solana ecosystem because of those. But like I'd love to see. Well, I could see, but yeah. All right, where are we at here? So big news. What big news do we got? What big news have we had in like the recent days? Um, macro drivers opening. So I mean, we do have a couple of big things going on globally. We've got the whole AI disruption fears, which have been costing jobs. It's been making it harder for people to be valued as employees. So spending power's down. People are scared. U.S. Iran nuclear talks are ongoing, so that's going to affect the markets to some extent. Nasdaq futures are down zero point 0.9. So right now the risk off is kind of the mentality, and you got to be careful with it because people aren't taking as much risk as they used to. They're not investing in Bitcoin. They're not investing in these things that would normally be risk acceptable because technology is having issues. The people are worried about jobs, global political, global trade. Like these things affect everything that we go through in Web3 consistently. So it's something that you guys have to keep your eyes on as we're going. Um, a lot of people like Solana because Solana is the new shiny thing. In my opinion, there were newer ecosystem than a lot of the things coming out. A lot of the things that have been out. They're separate from Ethereum, so that some people who don't like the way that Ethereum's operated or moved, they're moving that way. There's a lot of the very heavy like degen cult community mentality still in a lot of the Solana spaces, and that's something else that people tend to enjoy. So realistically, it's a wild wild west market like we started off with Bitcoin and ETH, and Bitcoin and ETH aren't as wild wild west as they used to be anymore. Where Solana is still just like FAFOing fucking everything, like degen, shit coins, RWA projects, like whatever they can get their hands on and manage to launch, they're launching, and it's kind of crazy. What tomatoes are you buying, Emmy? Why are you buying tomatoes? Is that another like Nigerian saying, bro? Like I'm confused. I don't know what it means. Help me. Help me. All right. So, let's see what else we got going on. Let's look at some news. So, for those of you guys that are out there who don't know where to get news, right? You can always come to Gemini. You always go to ChatGPT and just toss stuff in. Like to look up stuff, see what the market sentiment is, see what the friggin' what the global thing trends are going, like what issues may maybe explore, ask it questions, like why does this matter? What does this do? Like, um, why should I be concerned? Should I be concerned? These are all things that you can ask, and usually they're pretty good at generally explaining these things. So like you don't really have to worry too much about that. Um, Many analysts call measured deleveraging driven by both regulatory and economic pressures. Okay, Bitcoin currently trading down 13% for the month. Analysts are closely watching the 60 to 65K range. Staying above this support is considered critical to avoid a slide down toward 50. If we break past 60, I don't think 50 is going to be enough for us to hold. Realistically, just the amount of downward pressure that we're gonna see if we break past 60, I don't think that we're gonna bounce anywhere near 50, guys. Like realistically, like historically, 50 isn't super strong. Um, like if anything, 38, 40 is stronger. There's a lot more money in the market around those points. I'm not sure 50 would hold if we broke 60 because there's a lot of money in around 60, a lot of interest in around 60. 50, not nearly as much, right? So you got to be careful with that. Let's see. XRP recently saw an 11% dip, testing the 145 level. XRP, I've been hearing really good things about, and like they're getting a lot of like momentum when it comes to like banking and institutional interest and stuff. So like I think that XRP is going to do pretty good from what I've seen so far. My uncle's been stocking up a bag of that, and he's been doing okay with it. Um, we've got the regulatory stuff, Clarity Act, major push in U.S. Congress to pass this regulation, and then from here, right? You'd always just go and copy over, and then explore it, right? So Clarity Act, judicial split defines digital assets as as either securities or digital commodities to provide legal clarity. It's defining and building for better regulations in the future, realistically. Introduces registration requirements for brokers and trading venues to ensure compliance. Um, if I'm not mistaken, clarity passed one portion of voting. but we're also waiting for another set of votes. So it passed in the House in July. As of February, legislation is in Senate where committees are reconciling different versions to address crypto regulations with an ambitious goal to finalize by the end of Q1 2026. So we have to see how this goes, guys. I think we only need agriculture's version to go through, right? Which I think the banking committees um did one part of Clarity Act voting pass. Let's see. Okay, passed the U.S. House with a bipartisan committee approval. The House Financial Services Committee approved the bill, while the Agriculture Committee approved it. Okay, the bill, yeah. So we're just waiting on Senate. I think that we'll see this moving forward. Honestly, it's been a long time coming for some real regulation around cryptos in the U.S. And yeah, let's hope that this passes soon so that we can see what's going to happen from there. Project Crypto, the second CFTC have launched a collaborative initiative to develop a token taxonomy. This is intended to finally clarify which assets are considered securities versus commodities. Stablecoin yield battle. Recent White House meetings have seen traditional banks pushing for a ban on stablecoin rewards or interest payments. Bankers argue these yields are a direct threat to traditional bank deposits. So the banks are up in arms right now because they're worried about them being able to get people to invest in them and put their money in their banks and generate yield. They're worried about making money off of your money. So, of course, they're going to fight on that. Of course, they don't want you to be able to make money outside of their ecosystem, but I don't think that they've got a leg to stand on when it comes to this. I think that they're going to get shot down hard. Hong Kong licensing. In a boost for Asian markets, Hong Kong's financial secretary confirms that the first local stablecoin licenses will be issued in March 2026. So this is a big move for Asia. Um, I'm excited to see how the markets expand, guys. The better the markets do, the more likely any of the niches that you're interested in are going to be beneficial, are gonna benefit from it, are gonna prosper, hopefully. So we'll see where we go with that one. What else do we got here? ETF outflows, inflation, U.S. jobs. Jobs data, blowout January jobs, 130K versus 70K expected. Efficiently collapsed the odds of Federal Reserve rate cut. Higher for longer interest rates generally suppress appetite for high risk assets. So we have to see what's going to happen next month. If you remember the last time we discussed this, it was more around whether or not this was a fluke this month. Um, so we're gonna have to see if if we have hit a worse than expected month next month for March, then we will probably see more interest. We'll probably see a little bit of a boom. If we're still seeing like a less of a chance of rate cuts and stuff, then we're probably not. It's probably going to hurt us realistically. So we're going to be looking at the next jobs report to see what happens with that when it comes up. Inflation annual CPI stands at 2.4%. While this shows a moderate slowdown, it hasn't been enough to trigger an institutional buy the dip mentality. So because of inflation, we're not seeing enough. Yeah, we're not seeing the institutional interest triggers that they want to see based on inflation. ETF outflows for the first time since their inception. U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs are seeing consistent weekly net outflows over $1 billion in some weeks, signaling that institutional easy money is currently on the sidelines. They don't have money to pump in because people are pulling money out, and that's probably a lot of that is around the fear aspect. Our fear index, our fear to greed index, is at like an all-time low. I don't think we've. I think they said that we've never been that low. We were at like a friggin' five, guys. So fear is super high, but usually the times when fear is high are the times when you should buy, right? And I'm not saying leverage accounts and stuff like that. I'm saying like legitimately dollar cost averaging into tokens to help you build a bag that you can then utilize later on to flip and eventually get free bags on, right? Even if you're flipping 0.005 Bitcoin and you're going back and forth with it and making some money on it and eventually turning your bag into a bag that is no longer like invested into. It's just a free bag. Dollar cost averaging is probably one of the best strategies in the market to ensure that you're not losing money, but you're holding assets that have a high chance of appreciation. So, I mean, that's the opportunity that you have there um, currently. Security and industry trends. Physical security concerns. A recent wave of physical attacks on crypto executives, including a home invasion targeting the CEO of Binance France, has led to a surge in demand for withdrawal protection and proactive security models. Musk and X are another friggin' problem. Musk is just crazy. You're not eligible for promote or something now for cryptocurrency related products, which is kind of insane to me. Let's see, hold on. X removes promote for crypto. Ban on InfoFi was one of the first moves. That was a big hit to Web3 crypto Twitter. Um, yeah, never on an X token. He's never making a token. That's fine. Shift to smart cash tags. While X is removing unauthorized promotional apps, it is replacing them with native financial tools. They're currently rolling out smart cash tags. Real time data, tapping a cash tag now brings up interactive charts. He's building something for Web3 or crypto built into his platform, as far as I know. So like we're looking at a big shift to this because he wants to monetize what it is. Realistically, his monetization of a platform like X has been a little brutal because it's probably one of the most expensive platforms to participate in with like a premium account. Discord's free if unless you want $10 a Facebook is free. Instagram is free. Like you don't have to pay for these accounts. I like Gemini better because Gemini seems to have more up to date current information, whereas ChatGPT sometimes has issues with references to newer data. I definitely prefer Gemini when it comes to like current news compared to like historical data and accuracy. Sometimes Gemini can get it wrong. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes Gemini does get it wrong. But for the most part, the data is really up to date. It's really fresh. So honestly, I like Gemini better than ChatGPT. I like Claude better than Gemini for coding, but Gemini is also very functional. So I gotta give it that. And then on top of that, Gemini has the image creation tools. Grok Imagine is pretty good, but I think that I like Gemini better. Um, I'm video wise, Gemini and Grok are both so fucking expensive that I don't fuck with them. So yeah, but yeah, guys, we will see what happens with the market, dude. I mean, I right now I think that we're down bad. I think that we're gonna bounce off of 60K. We're gonna come back up. We're gonna start to see things starting to release soon that are gonna make an impact. And hopefully we'll get some cool new freaking games that I can play finally because I'm tired of playing a lot of the games that are out there. I just want to enjoy my games, man. I just want to enjoy my games. Um, let's see. What else can we discuss today? Macro driver worries about AI's impact on corporate pushing tech stocks lower. Also cool. The whole um yeah, I don't see all that much else. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, dude. Like, go to Gemini. If you really want to get the news and the current up to date, I need you to. And then just ask it to give you something, guys. The problem is, dude, is that Bitcoin being what Bitcoin is, when Bitcoin's bad, everything is bad. I would just keep focusing on learning the market, watching for good points to enter, and trying to scalp what little bits you can based on the market movements. I wouldn't look into any major like any major investments or like long-term leverage positions right now because we don't know where it's going. Like I can't stress that enough. Like we can go next month and end up back down at 40K. Like it's realistically it's such a wild like market based on movements and sentiment and like news and events. Like everything friggin' pushes the needle on this thing. So I mean, tweet Trump could make a fucking tweet tomorrow and pump Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Like it, it's crazy. Um, extreme fear levels, market sentiment plummeted, retail interest, retail participation remains low. ETH Denver's coming up, which well, ETH Denver's now technically, which is where Tyler was headed. He was talking earlier. I'm excited for him. I hope he has a good time. Let's see, institutional moves, fresh purchase of another almost 2,500 Bitcoin. Bybit Trading Championship. They're running a boost battle. Um, Lucas. Upcoming watch list: Fed Communications, Federal Reserve Chair, Vice Chair, scheduled to speak later today. Macro volatility: traders are bracing for the U.S. Supreme Court tariff ruling expected later this week, which could impact the risk assets globally. So there's a lot of there's a lot of things going on, guys. But on that note, we're gonna get ready to run this giveaway. Um, let's see. Stage track, export current channel, CJF stage, bang. I do this a little bit earlier today. Sheets. Damn it, I forgot to turn my fucking clock on. I always forget that, damn it. Ah. Alright. So we're gonna open this up. File open. Upload, browse. Downloads? Downloads. Gonna keep it at 30 minutes. Like Dusosky is the last one for the 30 minutes there. All right. Yep. So we're gonna duck race. All right. Where am I? Here we go. And JK. All right. We've got 40 people on the list. Let's go. Hmm. All right, guys. Ready, steady, and quack. Oh, quack. There we go. I misclicked. I didn't click the start button. No 2 minute races, Emmy. 2 minute races are too long. The 30-second races are long enough, dude. Lucas in the audience, quacking for his ducks. Quack. Oh, and it looks like Jerry Gold from the rear, out of nowhere. Is he going to fall back or is he going to continue? And Jerry Gold gets it. Congratulations, Jerry Gold. Our first winner for today. All right, race again. Ready, steady, and quack. Let's go. We've got Exy in the lead, but Exy's won too many times. His duck's going to fall back. Gabriel Token Seeker. Oh, Token Seeker falling way to the rear. Caesar, Chris, and Baskis in the lead with Tech Dan shortly behind. And Elsa E. Isaac. I don't know how to say your name, buddy. But oh, and look at that. UD coming in for the win. Congratulations, UD. It's been a while. I don't think you've won yet, buddy. Congrats. All right, and our last and final winner of today. Ready, steady, and quack. Let's go. Final winner. Got Leo Tan, Hamez, and Ahmed up in the lead, and there they go. Marshad is still in the lead with your fave girlie. Let's see who's going to take this. 10 seconds left. People pushing up from the rear. We've got Dusosky. We've got Annie. We've got Fire. Who's going to take it? And it looks like Dusosky wins. Congratulations, Dusosky. Congrats, everybody. Congrats. Congrats on your wins. Let me just get these names added in there. Alright, so we got Jerry Gold. We've got UD. And we've got Dusosky. There we go. Alright. Open your tickets for your winnings. Alright, guys. On that note, we're going to end this. I got to run. Thank you, everybody who tuned in live, hung out with us, watched us, like look through all the shitty news that the market has to offer. Watching the token charts together as we go, seeing where we think it might go next. Yeah, I appreciate you. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful Tuesday. I will catch you guys next time. And if you want to come and join in on the fun, if you want to come hang out, talk, chat, participate, you just got to go to www.discord.gg/CJN friends. And you'll be able to join the Discord and hang out during the live stages. All right? Thanks again. You have a wonderful day. I'm going to end this now. Bye byes. All right.